In this video, we're going to do some exponent law review from your basic skills package in case you've forgotten how to do some of these things. So I'm just going to really quickly review the exponent laws that are on the side here. The first one says that when you're multiplying exponents, if the base is the same, you add your exponents. When you're dividing exponents, if the bases are the same, then you subtract your exponents. Nested exponents, or power of a power, says that if you have an exponent with brackets and another exponent on top of that, you simply multiply. Anything to the power of 0 equals 1. A negative exponent makes a fraction, and a rational exponent makes a root. So the number on the top is just a regular exponent, and the number on the bottom makes a root. So we're going to do two examples here that have a variety of different skills in them. So the first one here says we want to simplify 5a to the 4, b to the 3, c to the 9 times 4a to the 3, b to the 7, c, all divided by 10, a to the 3, b to the 10, c to the 2. So if I take a look at what's going on here, I notice that I have two things being multiplied in the numerator. So I'm going to start with that. So if I want to multiply these together, coefficients, you just multiply normally, right? They're not the same base, 5 and 4, they don't have the same base, so I just multiply them together. So 5 times 4 is 20. Now I have an a to the 4 and an a to the 3. They have the same base, they have an a on the bottom. So I'm going to add those two exponents together. That's what you do when you multiply. So I do 4 plus 3 is going to give me 7. Now b to the 3, b to the 7, they both have a base of b. And then 3 plus 7 is 10. And then c to the 9 times c. Now this is secretly c to the 1. Ones are very shy and they like to hide. So since they both have the same base of c, I do 9 plus 1 since we're adding to get 10. Now there wasn't anything to do in the denominator. That's just 10, a to the 3, b to the 10, c to the 2. All right, on the next step, we're going to do the division. So I'm going to, with the coefficients, just simply divide them. So 20 divided by 10 is 2. Now here come the exponents. So I have a to the 7 and a to the 3. So I need to keep the a, right? That's my base. And then this time, because we are dividing, we subtract. So 7 take away 3 is 4. Right? B to the 10 and b to the 10. If I subtract, that's going to give me b to the 0. And then c to the 10, c to the 2. 10 take away 2 is going to give me c to the power of 8. So I have 2 times a to the 4, b to the 0, c to the 8. And I can leave it like that, but that b to the 0 is the same thing as 1, not b to the 1, just a plain old 1. So this would be 2 times a to the 4 times 1 times c to the 8. So I can actually multiply that 2 and that 1 together since they're both just numbers. And I get 2 a to the 4, c to the 8. All right, the second one is a little bit trickier. It says we want to evaluate 32 over 243 to the power of 3 over 5. So it said in our rules here that a rational exponent makes a root. So the number on the top, the 3, is just going to be a regular exponent, but that 5 is actually going to be a fifth root. So we're going to try to figure out what number to the power of 5 gave me 32 and 243. So I'm going to say that this is the fifth root of 32 over 243 to the power of 3. So to figure out the fifth root of 32, you want to try to think of a number to the power of 5 that gives you 32. So you could do some guess and check. You can use a power sheet if you have a power sheet. Otherwise, you could use your calculator. On your calculator, your root should be, for most people, the second function of your exponent button. So on my calculator, my exponent button is a y to the x button. So you might have a y to the x, you might have x to the y, you might have a little up arrow, that's called a caret, right? Any of those things are your exponent button that you use when you're doing regular exponents. So what we're going to do is, instead of just doing that, we're going to use the second and then our exponent button. So for me to do the fifth root of 32, I would do 32 on my calculator, and then I'd hit second, my exponent button, and 5, which gave me 2. And I can check 2 to the power of 5 is 32. Now, your order might be a little bit different than mine. It just depends on your calculator. If you have one where you see everything you type in on the screen, you might have to put the 5 in first and then second exponent button 32. It just depends on your calculator. You're going to have to try until you get something that works. So 243, I'm going to do the same thing. So 243, second exponent button, and then we're doing the fifth root. So 5 gave me 3. So the fifth root of 32 over 243 is 2 over 3. And then now I'm going to do that to the power of 3. So I do 2 to the power of 3, which I actually know is 8, but you can use your calculator if you need to. And then 3 to the power of 3 is 27, or you could use your calculator. Now, I would prefer a fraction. I really wouldn't want a decimal here, which is why it's important to do the numerator and the denominator separately every time you do a power to make sure that you still have a fraction when you're done. And that's our exponent law review.